there everyone, how are you doing today? Is it just me or does it feel like Groundhog Day the movie? I'm not sure what day it is. I think it might be Thursday. But regardless, thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to another episode of Beauty and Style by Erin Bradley. So today we are going to cover the Smokey Eye. I feel like I could probably do a Smokey Eye in my sleep. I probably have. I've dreamt about it. It's probably one of the most requested makeup looks that people ask me for, whether it's in lessons or brides or photo shoots. So today we're going to cover some really simple basics. So we're going to start with our eyes. Now, for sure you want to start with your eyes because you're using more product and more color and more shadow. It's very likely that it's going to drop underneath your eyes. So if you do your eyes first and then you can wipe away whatever, you drop underneath, you can start clean with foundation and whatnot. So the first step I'm going to do is our base. So I'm using the Studio Fix concealer from MAC. You can also do talked about Painterly, which is a paint pot by MAC. That's a nice base. So either or. And we're just going to go in and do just a little bit in the center of your lid. Dab it on. If you're using your finger, then just go in with your finger. Now if you have too much product on one finger, then you can always switch to a clean one and spread it out. But we're going to cover our entire lid. And what this does is it evens out any discoloration on your eyelid and preps it for the color you're going to apply so it doesn't change the color. So just going in, and the heat of your finger will spread out this base really nicely and not make it too cakey, because the last thing you want is a cakey, creasy lid. So there we go. Just brightened your whole lid. Perfect. Okay, so step one complete. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in with our highlighter shadow and set this. So any color that we put on over top of a primer, or in this case a concealer, it's going to grab. So if we went right in with the dark color right away, it's going to grab too strong and it's going to be hard to move around. So we're going to set it first with a light shadow. So I'm using a fluffier brush to do this. So this one's just got a little, it's actually double-ended, so either side, but it's got just like a nice fluffy edge to it, and it's going to shear out your product. If you use a really small stiff brush, for example, let's see here, something more like this, it's flatter, more two-dimensional. Something that like this is a bit fluffier, you can see the difference. The fluffier brush is going to shear out the product and do a lighter coverage, whereas something like this is going to apply a lot more product and shadow and look a bit heavy. So we're going fluffy. So we're going in. Now today I'm using this Naked Urban Decay Heat Palette, and I'm using, it's called Ounce. So we're going to go in with this light color here, right there. It's got a little bit of a shine to it, but not too much. And we're going to go in and do that all over. So I usually like to start where I want more product first. So you can start on the inner of your eye and then just blend it up a little bit under the brow and then across your entire lid, like so. You can bring a little bit underneath your eye as well, like that. There we go. So we've set everything nicely, and then this brush, this fluffy brush with the light color, we are keeping this brush only for light. So it's going to be your blender brush, it's your fix-it brush, it's your you put too much dark on and you need to blend it out brush. It's essential. And this is one of the steps that a lot of people skip in having a separate brush. They try to do everything with one. Okay, so we're going to keep that brush separate. So now that we've evened out our lid, we've primed it, now we're going to go in and start creating our Smokey Eye. So it's best not to just start with that really dark color and go right into that. It's going to be way too dark and it's going to look bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick probably a little bit more of a neutral color. Somewhere in this family, right in here would be best. And I'm going to start with a matte color. Matte colors are great because you can kind of carve in the area and the space where you want to like add definition, and then wherever you want to add shine. So if you want to add like a bronzy shadow over top of it after, go for it, or pop a bit of shine in the center. But starting with more matte colors when you're trying to figure out where you want your shadow is better. So I'm going in with this color called Sauced. Awesome. Would that be the best job ever to name eyeshadows? Anyways, so we're starting again with our crease brush. So this is a nice fluffy round brush that's going to fit right into my crease and kind of fade it out like a sunset in one step. Really easy. Your brush should do all your work for you. So we're going to start at the lash line and just kind of place it and start working in the color. Now today we're kind of doing shadows that have like a nice kind of warm brown to it. Fluff. Much darker. Oops, sorry, a little hair fluff on there. Much stronger than the colors I've used before. So you're gonna definitely see it a lot faster. Like that. There we go. And then if you screw up, this is where having that light brush is perfect for just softening any edges. Like that. Now let's do a little bit on the other side. So again, starting at the base and kind of working up and over. Like so. And then you can always use the side of the brush to just soften and kind of drag out the edge like that. Now I went right into a darker color, like a more medium tone. You could have gone maybe like a shade down if you wanted to start, but we're going for a smoky eye today. So smoky is really just fading from light to dark. So, and it really doesn't matter the color. It could be black, it could be gray. Today we're going with some browns. Okay, there we go. So we've got kind of that blended out smoky kind of look. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the same brush and we're just gonna go a shade or so darker. So this time I'm gonna try using something that has a little bit of shine in it. So I'm gonna try, ignore the dents in my shadows. That was my son getting creative. Anyways, I'm gonna try one of these kind of shinier ones. I'm gonna give those a whirl. Just to add like a little bit more dimension to my lid. And this one is called Scorched. So and you will get a little bit of fallout, even if you're dabbing very carefully, you're still gonna get some fallout. And if you get, again, too much, a little bit of extra there, you can use your blender brush to soften. Now, because these colors have that like warm brown copper undertone, anyone with, I mean, it generally tends to complement most eye colors. Green eyes, blue eyes, any of those warm tones tend to really bring out that color. You just have to be careful if you have a lot of red undertone to your skin and redness around your eyes. Any type of shadow that has a lot of that really warm red pigment is just gonna bring it out even more. So maybe stay away from that and go with a more cooler, like taupier brown or bronze would be better. And then, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with that darkest shade, kind of right second to the end. It's a nice matte one. And still with the same brush, still using the same brush, we're just going a little bit darker. I'm gonna go in and kind of do like a smaller C. like that. Just go a little bit darker. So it's just slowly darkening and darkening and blending. And the stronger that you go to the inside of the eye, the more it's going to set your eyes together. If you keep the shadow kind of more towards the outside, it's going to give more of like a lifted, kind of wider eye illusion. So for me, I'm going to keep the dark kind of more towards the outside and up, because it tends to just make that descending part of my eye look a bit more lifted and less droopy. I'm going to go back in again and just soften the edge. I love these colors. They remind me of the summer. Great. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my angle brush. I'm going to carry this underneath my eye a little bit. So you can, you know, just do like a fine amount of like, say, the medium shadow, but I'm going to go in and do like a darker smoky eye. So I'm actually going to take that dark color, the darkest, second darkest one first, and go right under the lash line there with the shadow. And kind of feathering it out with the side of the brush. We can kind of push in to the tip. But you want to use like not just the tip of the brush, you want to use the whole flat of that angle brush. And this is the Elate angle brush. I love it. It's a nice synthetic bristle that you get like a really nice fine tip with. It's not too wide. There we go. And it doesn't feather out and doesn't get too fluffy. All right, so we've done the dark. Now you don't want to leave it just like that because it's a little bit strong. So I'm going to go in with that kind of shiny, that I guess it would be the third shadow we used, and then just soften the edge. So again, kind of just fading the line down a little bit. Like so. There we go. Again, you can go back in with your kind of crease brush and even like use that to kind of feather and soften the line. Like that, and drag it out. Well, I'm gonna have to go through drive-through tonight, let me tell you. Somebody's got to see this makeup. Oh, anyways, okay, so what we're gonna do now is, now that we've done most of the shadow, I have left that little bit on the inside light for a reason. We're gonna put just like a little bit of a sparkle there. I am gonna use, let's see what we're gonna use here. Ooh, actually, I'm gonna use, let's pull this out. So this is a little sample that I have of a Pat McGrath gold, you can see it there, like a gold loose pigment. So I'm going to actually just take this lid, the product, you can see it there, and just use my finger and use that to dab in a little bit of color. So again, just using that part and dabbing it in the center part of my eye. There, just adds a little extra color. I love gold. It just brings out the green in my eyes a lot. So it tends to be one of my go-to color palettes. for sure. And I'm going to take a little bit just underneath. Like that. Ooh. That is not where you want it. You do not want gold on the inner of your eye, and that is why we do your eyes first. So let me get rid of that. So I'm just going to use a little makeup wipe, my cloth right here that has a little bit of makeup remover on it. Now what we can do is you can go in and remove any of that extra. You can see the product on there. From underneath your eye. Now be careful not to cut in too close to the shadow, or you're going to just cut it in and you're going to create a line, and it's going to be hard, especially if you're using a product. Hold up, I can see a little bit of an edge there. There we go. Okay, so now that we've completed that part of the smoky eye, you can put liner on if you want. You can skip liner. It depends on how dark of a smoky eye you want. I actually may do some tight lining again. I love that trick. It's like the lazy person's eyeliner option. So I'm gonna go in and just do my waterline on the top and bottom. And this is the Marc Jacobs Truffled. It's almost like a gel cream liner, but in a twist up. It's great. That. It's sometimes, unless you wear contacts all the time and you're poking your eyes all the time, this can be a little bit tricky. So it takes a little bit of practice, especially to get that upper. Sometimes I just have to kind of like close my eyes and blink across the brush, and that helps get it in there. Okay, so I'm define my eyes a little bit more. Great. Now let's do some brows. So using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz that I love, and going in and making those brows look like sisters. Sisters who like each other. There we go. And just gonna give. Now, if you're going out for evening and into more of like a darker lit setting, then you can even do like a stronger brow than normal, but I'm just gonna keep it more natural today. You can always go in and just comb up and brush over that. Here we go. Yeah, brows, grooming your brows, it makes such a difference. You know, as we age, things start to fade and move. So keeping your brows in place is an important thing to focus on for making your eyes look youthful. Okay, there we go. Brows check. Okay, so let's do some quick skin. So I'm gonna go in and we're gonna use some concealer to brighten in under my eyes. So we're using my favorite one, the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector in light to medium. So I'm gonna use my finger and just go in with a little bit of this product and brighten. Now, especially when you're doing a smoky eye, you really wanna make sure that you brighten that area. Otherwise, the darkness that you're doing around there is just gonna draw attention to that area. So just gonna go in and brighten and not go too close to all the shadow work. Like kind of want to blend it in with it, but you don't want to erase it. And that peachy undertone is what really works to get rid of the purpley tone underneath your eye. If you go too yellow or too light and you're trying to cover something kind of purpley toned, it just ends up going ashy and kind of gray looking. So using something that has a bit of that like pinky, almost salmon color, depending on your skin tone, in there to help color correct is going to be best. There we go. I'm gonna just do a little dab of this stuff on a couple blemishes, a little bit around my nose. Like that. Okay. There we go. So light evening out of my skin tone all over, but focusing in on those under eye circles. So I'm gonna set now with using my Elate glowing powder, and I'm just dabbing a bit of product and then working out of the lid. So using my Elate multi brush, you can see all that shadow kind of dusting off. So try to keep the shadow in the lid, and you don't want to tap off your brush off the counter because then all the product just comes off. So what you want to do is you want to like tap it on a surface and it actually will like sink into the brush. That's what you're doing. And we're going to go in and just add a little bit of coverage and set that concealer. And I'm just kind of doing stippling, and then in the areas where I need less product, just buffing like that across my forehead. There we go. Okay, so we've concealed, we've set with some powder, and now I'm gonna go in and give some contour and kind of finish up this bronzed look. So, using my new favorite product, the Marc Jacobs Tantastic in Omega Bronze, and using my, let's see, using my angle brush. So when you're contouring, it's really important to find a brush that is angled like this. If you're using too fluffy of a brush, it's just going to go too thick. So you want something that angled that can sit right in and carve in that kind of angle in that line. So I am going to just go in and start buffing it, and it's really kind of like the center of my ear and kind of under that cheekbone. I'm just kind of sinking in, and then again, because we have that powder brush, we can always use that to kind of soften and buff like that. So other side. Like that. There we go. I'm really loving this bronzer. It doesn't grab too much or anything. It's not too strong, and you can really like blend it darker. So even though I'm really fair, it's a good color, but I think even someone who has darker skin could keep using this, or like use a stiffer brush to apply it a bit differently. I'm gonna use a little bit across my forehead, a little bit on my nose, and just a touch on my jawline, and down my neck. Because again, remember, down your neck you never really get any color, so it's good to blend down there. It'll also soften the look of any extra chins that you may have collecting there. Anyways, okay, there we go. So we've contoured. Let's add a little bit of blush. Why not? So I'm going to use the Stila Lillium today, and we're going to go in with my blush brush trick. So we've got the brush. We're just going to dab it kind of more on the side of the brush. So we're just dabbing it on the side, not the whole brush, to do like more of a circular motion. And I'm just going to take a little bit off on my hand here, and then we're going to go in and just do it on the very top of my cheek. Not too close to my nose, but just on the top part of my cheek. And there we go. Nice, adds a little color back in. There we are. Lovely. Let's add a highlighter in, why not? Let's do it. So today we're gonna use the Marc Jacobs, and it's called Spotlight. It's a glow stick. So I'm just gonna use this and just dab it with my finger. And we're gonna do this on my cheekbones. Just to give a little bit more dewiness. Again, don't go too close to your eye right there. And then like that. Okay. All right, highlighted. Oh, actually, let's do a little bit more highlighting on that inner of my eye, like that. And the bottom of my lip, like that. Okay, so we've highlighted, we've contoured, we've added some color back into my cheeks. Let's do mascara. Yes, mascara. Like, what am I forgetting? Mascara. So I'm going in with my Tightline Elate Cosmetics primer, the really small brush that just gets in there right in under my lash line and just emphasizes my to thicken my lashes. And you always want to kind of like really wiggle at the base as much as you can, and then just kind of stroke your lashes out to the outside. A lot of people, depending on which side of their face they sleep on, or if they sleep on their face, your lashes end up going like kind of pushed in one direction. So when you put your mascara on, it's good to kind of redirect them to where they need to go. Doing just a little bit underneath the eye. You can be a bit stronger with your product underneath your eye for mascara because we've done some more shadow work under there. But I've got that. And then for some thickening mascara, so this is the Upward Lash from MAC, and it's got tons of product on the wand, which for me, you'll see in a second, but the difference is quite pronounced because each lash is getting a ton of product on it. I don't have very thick lashes, so you can see like there's a huge difference. We're a little bit clumpy right there. Yeah, huge difference from one side to the next. So I'm really trying hard not to open my mouth, but why is it we always open our mouth when we are putting on mascara? Anyways, Deep Thoughts by Erin Bradley. All right, let's see here. Okay, a little bit underneath. Got a little bit of a clump, so I'm just going to use my finger to kind of wiggle back and forth. Okay. Wow, what a difference. Mascara. That's awesome. Okay. So we've done mascara. So now because we're doing a stronger eye, it's all about balance. I'm not going to throw a red lip on now. It'd be too strong. So I'm going to just throw a gloss on. I don't have a ton of pigment to my lips, so you could do a neutral lipstick or something soft. I'm going to use a gloss. This is one of my favorites. It's from Fenty. It's called Fussy Gloss Bomb. So what's great about it is it's just nice and sheer. It's got like a little bit of a sparkle. It's not too sticky. And I like the wand. It just adds a nice bit of shine. There we go. Do my lips. Okay. There we have it. There is my bronzy, warm brown, smoky eye for you. So feel free to sub out whatever color you want and use those tricks. thank you so much for watching, and feel free to check out my other YouTube videos or follow me on Instagram at eBradleyStyle. Take care and have a fabulous day. Love you. Bye.